Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave Daily Update for the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, November the 12th, 2024. I am going to start with the Nasdaq today. I'm on the hourly chart. Nothing major to add to the current analysis other than just to update what we did today. As I had left it yesterday, I thought we had the chance that the fourth wave was complete, but I was looking for a stronger push higher in terms of that. I wanted to see it more of an impulsive move, which would signal that the minuet fifth wave is underway. We did not get that. In fact, we got an additional new low, and it came down to pretty much hitting that support, that fib support, which was at 21,050. And the low today was 21,054. So it came pretty dang close, and mostly we could say came and hit it on the nose and then launched pretty strongly right off of that level. So that is the type of movement that I'm looking for, as it comes down, meets its mark, and then just really kind of moves very strongly up off of that level, which is what we saw here on the hourly chart. So I have put together and I've labeled the wave 4. Now I am leaving these two, well, actually, yes, both, but more importantly, that level, which is 20,960. It's an additional level that would be considered still a fourth wave. But the reason that I'm leaving it there is because I want to introduce what could be the other side of all of this. So remember, because what I always try to do when I'm making the presentation is I try to give both sides of the market. Now, while I am favoring that there will be additional upside before this minute fifth wave and the minuet level, all the minuet levels will be done. And so that minute wave 5 would be complete, minor wave 5 would complete, and then the intermediate third wave would be complete. But as we start to see that there's always possibilities that the market's going to go like, nope, and they start to tip over and they start going beyond levels. So the alternate that we have here is that we are coming back up and that this whole sequence finished here. That's the alternative. So what I am looking at is that it is an alternative count, and that would be if the market continues to break down from here and we start to break below, say, for example, the hourly 200, which is currently sitting at 20,872. Now, accordingly, the count, we would have to break minuet wave 1 before it would be invalidated in terms of being a fourth wave. But I'm going to put it way before that, and the reason being is that this fourth wave cannot be that big. Again, I would start to question it down here, that it's like it's just getting too big, and that might change what this all looks like. So in other words, this could be an A, and this could be the B, and then we're coming down in the C wave. But it should, if it's 1 and that's a 2, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3, 4, et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to be my alternate. That's the alternate. Again, there are so many things that can really start to falter within this whole journey higher. All of the requirements of the wave have been met, particularly here in the Nasdaq, and also definitively in the S&P, and I'll get to that in a moment. If we just slip out to the 4-hour chart for just a moment, that was the high. That's the high of minor wave 3. So minor wave 5, we'd be looking for it to break that high before completing. That high was 21,213. Well, now we've been up to 21,000, that's this high right up in there, 21,323. So still, I'm expecting more, as I've discussed, and that right now, if wave 4 is complete at today's low, then our first marker is 21,414. And I'm thinking, well, that would just be where wave 5 is equal to wave 1, most common. But I think, as I discussed yesterday, that boy, the 1.618 comes right up inside where the other markers for the intermediate 3 and the minor 5 all rest. So that makes a lot of sense to me, that they get grouped together and they finish. Now, if it finishes here, in other words, we get a 4 and a 5 and it's all done and it just starts to cruise south for whatever reason, Again, because everybody wants to go, well, what would the reason be? Why I don't see that. You know what? Stranger things have happened, folks. A market can just start to tip over simply on its own. And just because it is so overbought, it is so overvalued, and whatever the situation might be. And everybody wants to run with like, no, we got this positive, that positive, this positive, not going to happen. And then it does. So better to kind of understand that, yep, the possibility is there, but what the expectation remains right now is that the market will continue to move higher and finish. And I'm thinking, closer up to 21,600 to 700 would be the area that I initially would look for. Again, we got up to 21,300 today, above 300. So, well, actually, in Globex yesterday. So let's keep that in mind as we're working through all of this. So now, what can we say about our moving averages? Let's go take a look at those real quick. And we're just going to come in and say, you see, they're all very nice. In fact, the 20's picking up its pace. The 8 is picking up its pace. And the 50 is picking up its pace. So in other words, the angle starts to point a little bit stronger higher. And even the 200, not tremendously because it's a very slow boat, so to speak, but it might just continue to turn as we reach that high. And then as we start to fall, this would go flat, this would go flat, and these might start to get broken. And that would be once we're up there. I don't necessarily see that, but let me just add, tomorrow we get CPI. On Thursday, we get PPI. So we get initial jobless claims and PPI. Both of those can be jarring. Both of those can be like, whoops, surprise, bam, and the market will take a tumble. And so it's not going to just drop and fall out of the sky simply because we finished intermediate wave 3 and we're looking for the intermediate wave 4. That's not going to happen all in one day. But if we start to break down and we start to break levels that should hold if we're going to continue to see upside within the capacity of this move. That's what we're looking at. All right, so let's go over and take a look at the S&P. Again, starting on the daily, just to take a quick look where we again, not as strong as you would think because we had a negative bar. And again, because it came down, and here's, well, this market also hit, but I just want to take a look, see how they start to crest and they start to maybe go a little bit flat. Start to crest, start to crest. So, but still in alignment for continued upside. But we basically would be looking for it to really not waste any time and to start to pick it up and keep going. That's kind of my thought process. So let's drop the S&P down to the 1 hour chart and take a look at that. Again, same deal. I'd left open the potential that it could have finished there yesterday. Actually there. Well, maybe it was there. Wherever it was. And then we started to get a lift off. Now, but we left open the potential that it could drop down. And so, and drop down it did. And we came down and we smacked right into that support at 59.89. Today's low actually was 59.86, almost 87. So 2 points, 3 points tops, pretty good hit. So I marked it complete with the wave 4, and also liked the launch up out of that, off of that low, strong. So maybe it's a small one. This is a 2, and we get a nice third wave. Now, again, we're going to be looking for the 5th wave to top out above 60.54 or 53, which is the high, existing high right now. Our fibs are the first one, where wave 5 would be equal to wave 1, is at 6,073. And then we start to drop into another one that's looking a little bit more likely right now. And because what it does complete up here is the minute 5th wave at 61.18. And then again, the minuet 5th wave at 61.27. So somewhere in there makes sense. This also could work. If I get the 5, it works because everything else has already met the requirements. Now, what if it all blasts through all of that, and then we're up into the next sequence of fibs? and that being 62.13, 62.41, and 62.77. That's also a level. But right now, that's kind of where I'm looking, right in here. And we get everything else complete, because these are pretty the higher levels, right? The higher multiples that we use. And when we're in a strong rally, which we have been in, they kind of start to take a life of their own. But right now, I'm kind of thinking here. So we need to come down, hold now. And here as well, the alternate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can be, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, there's many different little iterations that you can put up there. And then this would be the minute 5, the minor 5, intermediate wave 3, all done here. That's the alternate, still kind of sitting on the shelf, but I got to bring it out and take a look, because if we start to fail from here and we come down and we break 59.42, and then again, maybe we break 5,900, in my view, that's going to start to negate additional upside and start to put more pressure on the fact that this whole sequence up to that intermediate third may be complete. And again, CPI tomorrow, PPI on Thursday. And let me just double check and make sure I'm not making a fool out of myself and saying the wrong days. And yep, Wednesday CPI, Thursday is PPI, and also initial jobless claims. So that's really all I really have. The volumes today were not that bad. They weren't jumping all over the place. Tesla was definitely all over the place, but you saw them start to correct today, which was not unhealthy. I got to tell you, it was not unhealthy. And again, it's reached a major level. Now, 350, 356, those are major levels. The picture still could be in telling us that, hey, Tesla's going to 400 plus. We'll wait and see. And that may happen, folks. That may happen within intermediate wave 5. So we can finish intermediate wave 3, come down into 4, and go back up into 5, which I have been talking about, will contain new all-time highs all on its own. So we're going to be looking for a lot of upside activity once we are done with intermediate wave 4. It all starts again and we push up to new all-time highs. That is when we might be beginning to see these, Tesla soaring up to 450, soaring up even to higher levels, and NVIDIA surpassing 150, surpassing 175 maybe, getting itself up there. I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen in these stocks. Please don't misunderstand. But we're going to be looking for, in our indexes, much higher levels than what we've seen thus far. That's all within intermediate wave 5. We got to finish intermediate wave 3, get intermediate wave 4, and then do the 5. And that's where I'm going to finish this up for today. Keep it short and sweet. And again, we've got some levels that if the market continues and fails from here, we have an alternate so we can figure that out. And then we're going to be looking for stuff to start to unwind. And it could happen very quickly. If not, then we've reached our lows and we start to build on this minuet fifth wave, within the minute fifth wave, within the minor fifth wave, so on. All right, next update will be on Wednesday, November the 13th.